Welcome to Master of Frequency, a spiritually scientific edutainment podcast. I'm currently lighting this candle. Where's the flame, I wonder? Looks like we're already on the other side. I make these candles with specific intentions using ceremonied items, and I sell them in ceremony to the people who come to me. They find me, and I will be opening an Etsy shop soon. I'm Amanda Zane. I am a master of frequency, as are you, and I'm going to prove it to you. Now, I did not know exactly what this podcast would be about. I just knew that someone close to me, I'm going to get emotional, is healing cancer. And to witness what she has been through in our current healthcare system, I knew I had to say something. In 2023, Dr. Robert J. Gilbert of the Vesica Institute signed me up for frequency-specific microcurrent. And that training taught me, this is existing knowledge for almost 100 years that was covered up with the 1915 Flexner Report that audited, removed frequency medicine from medical schools to replace it with disease treatment instead of holistic prevention, holistic well-being. And I have mentors in the Western medical field, doctors, psychiatrists, thought leaders that are speaking out nationally about their wake-up call when they went to medical school and throughout their career, that the disease treatment options, although an important part of our system, was denying the body's self-healing, the body's balance. And these pharmaceuticals seem to be a money machine. Now, with the tools that I learned in frequency-specific microcurrent, Dr. Carol McMakin, she found a list of frequencies that was kept, preserved from many years ago. In England, there was an entire scientific journal devoted to frequency medicine in the early 1900s. So this was already being used worldwide. But Dr. Carol McMakin, she met an engineer and they created a machine that could get specific frequencies into specific tissues, bones, dissolve scarring, heal arteries. And this is not something that I'm even comfortable talking about on YouTube because of the FDA and because of Big Pharma. The anecdotal evidence is all you'll see with frequency medicine in terms of treating cancer, heart disease, all of these major chronic illnesses that it seems mainly America is plagued with. We're supposed to be one of the most advanced countries on the planet, and here we are, the sickest, most overweight, most depressed. There is something wrong with healthcare. So it is my prerogative to inform you that there are many paths to regeneration, and that perfect health, as my teacher, Dr. Deepak Chopra, wrote in his book of the same name, is our natural state. He gives an example in his book of a man who was also healing cancer, who had test results from the hospitals from his cancer journey that his levels of unhealthy cells skyrocketed. He went to Dr. Chopra's Ayurvedic retreat, where Dr. Chopra said he remembered his wellness, and those levels went extremely low to the point where he was not sick anymore. But what happened was when he went back to his day-to-day life, went back into the healthcare system, they went up again. So I give that example in the Dharana method, meditation and lifestyle practices, to inspire you to remember your own well-being, to remember your powers. My journey, which I talk about in the Remember Your Powers series on this channel, shows how I wasn't asking for this awakening, but it happened as I remembered more and more of who I actually was and forgot who I wasn't. In life, at this juncture, we are faced with a crossroads. Will we choose life, or will we choose this death cycle of continuous shedding, of continuous bumping up against the wall? My intention is that you remember your powers so that you integrate your wellness, your perfect health, your natural connection to spirituality into your everyday life. And we do that by remembering that we are energy. Nikola Tesla said that we are going to advance so much as a society when we focus on frequency. Energy, according to the laws of thermodynamics, cannot be created or destroyed. It can be transformed, transferred, moved. Those of us who are practicing alchemy of our emotions, of our situations, of heartbreak, of grief, are learning that we are masters of alchemy, that it's natural to us once we know what we're capable of. In my life, I've been blessed to have master teachers. I don't know what I was in past lives, but I have a vague idea, and I know that this is meant to be, so that I can share with you some of this knowledge to inspire you to remember more of yourself. My master teachers are from multiple traditions. I personally have studied the Vedas and Ayurveda and practiced meditation and yoga for the past 20 years. My whole life, I've been studying the world's wisdom traditions. I've been studying how humans relate to one another. I've been studying art and expression and myself, giving myself permission to be how I naturally am in a world that does not support that. It is like once we start asking questions, we wake up to what this really is. This is a dream. We are dreaming it, and it's a reflection of how we feel about ourselves. It's a reflection of what we feel is possible. I'm going to give you some examples. Over the past 5 years, I have been on one of the most incredible, profound, and difficult journeys that if you told me it was going to last 5 years, I would have chosen out. I know I wouldn't have, because my one why was not to bring all this knowledge into the world. My why was to reunite with my son and live a life where I didn't have to work all day, where I could actually be present to raise my child as a single mother. That is my entire intention. But what happened was I was put in this situation to destroy the false self and the life built on a false foundation. So I lost everything, as many of us have. And letting go is such a skill. And that's a skill that we need right now, because we are transitioning into the new world, the world that reflects our self-love, our empowerment, our balanced power, our natural inclination towards harmony, love, peace, and unity. The earth is teaching us. Her messages to us come in the form of animals, trees, wind, the elements. She is teaching us that we have everything we need and a beautiful environment, a loving environment in which to create. She is teaching us that that is who we naturally are. We are her. We are part of her. Our bodies are her. Our spirits are from her. We are earth. We are stars. So we are rooted in this reality of the earth plane and guided by the higher beings in the celestial world towards becoming who we really are, which is a higher being experiencing a physical life in the earth plane. We are heaven on earth. We are the nexus of life. It is flowing through us to birth new creations into this experience. And it is individual as well as collective. And earth is showing us that what we're doing here is being who we really are as creators, as empowered higher beings, masters of frequency. In the native tradition, I learned that there are messages from the animals, and I got to learn what their meanings are. And you can do this by simply observing an animal and intuiting what that message is for you. The earth is teaching us through these animals, through the trees, through the natural processes and cycles, who we are and what we're capable of. So when I say creator of our own reality, we come to that 0 point in ourselves. We have God working through us. We are God. The earth is a goddess. We are from her. We are from the stars. We are higher beings with infinite power. But we don't know what it is we want to create. The artists do, the architects, those who are actually creating into this world, they are the true masters. What we can do is we can look around us and we can see what's possible and how to do that simply by tuning into our own energy. We have so much that we don't even realize is in our control. But the paradox is that we surrender first. We surrender, we let go, we give it up. All of our burdens, all of our struggling, all of our resistance. And only then do we find the flow. We can time travel. I will give you an example of that. We can manifest. I can give you examples of that too. We can regenerate. There is a man who is shrinking a tumor here in Utah using his practices and holistic medicine. These stories are not uncommon, but you get to find them because what you're being shown is a reflection of your beliefs. I personally have been amongst miracles. I have been a part of miracles. I have received miracles. And that showed me that anything is possible when you have faith that turns to trust, that turns to knowing. And then you awaken your own divine willpower and you command. With the time travel, I did not No, besides, I wanted to get this information out so that people like the one close to me who are healing a major health issue have tools and know that it's possible to heal themselves. I didn't know exactly what it was. And then 2 days ago, I was inspired to look something up for a friend in one of my many logs. I've been keeping journals of this journey over the past 5 years, of all of the miracles, of all of the ahas, of all the original experiential insight I've received from my journey, also from higher realms. And I found a page that describes exactly what I'm doing with releasing this podcast. It put this into motion. It knew what was going to happen before I really did. But I allowed myself to go there. And on 7/25 in 2023, this was a major year for me of switching timelines. This is what I wrote. Time travel. Got another go at the 777 energy. Now, July 25th, that's 7, and then 25th is 7 also. The 777 portal. People talk about it when you get to a date that has the same number, people call them portals. And now, after understanding what time and space is, now I can see why that matters. It is beyond space-time, these portals. Just like a stargate. You can create a stargate just like the Egyptians did, where you anchor an energy through symbols, through crystals, through their monoliths, and that energy that's carved into the rock or housed in the crystal, that is existing beyond space and time. So the 777 portal had a lot of abundance energy, luck, but I missed it. I missed it on 7/7. So I wrote here on 7/25 when I noticed that 7 and the 25th was another 7, I sent another go at it. I willed it. And I said, the things I naturally share are very spiritual in nature. I am paid to exist by informing folks of the energy via YouTube. I am a doctor, a starseed, a journalist, a messenger of light. Now, when I read that 2 days ago, knowing that I was starting Master of Frequency on 111, another portal, and I had written time travel, my whole world came into focus in the ever-present now. We are connected to our higher awareness, our higher consciousness. We know what is best for us. We know that these things are possible. We know it's possible to quantum shift, to see into the future that's all around us, because everything that we've envisioned is created here now in the energy. We could see what's happening and we can will it into being. I time traveled to my future self, my future life, and I wrote it here in this journal. And what's on the cover? All you need is love. My why for that intention was so that I can have time and freedom to raise my son and be a present mom. And now that has expanded to be able to share with my dear community, with my family, with the loved one who is an incredible self-healer that's actually taught me much of what I know, that it's possible, that it's our natural ability to regenerate. On my website, the link is below, I have chronicled personal data from interviews with experts, because along my journey, I wanted to prove what I was going through was real, because it was so outside of my perception that when these things were happening to me, I had no idea if I was going crazy, if I was imagining them, but they felt very real, and I've documented them. And so I interviewed experts, doctors, artists, spiritual teachers. And what I found was what I knew from my personal experience. So I'm sharing that you know what you're doing. If you have been on your knees, knowing in your heart that there is a way, and that by focusing on your vibration, by setting clear intentions, by taking inspired action, by balancing your personal desire with seva or sacred service, that you know what you're doing. You are a master. This is innate. This is the river that is constantly flowing through us. This is source energy. This is life force energy. This is light consciousness, energy, love. Love is the key. All you need is love. If you didn't have any of this spiritual knowledge, like for me, to know that the frequencies work on my body, I had to put it together that a doctor and an engineer took frequencies that have been used successfully for at least 100 years, brought them into the modern day, tested them on every ailment, tested them on everything from skin conditions to aligning the facet joints to heal the spine, to eradicating asthma. I had to know all of that, and that there were specific frequencies when I plugged myself into the machine and felt the instant euphoria and relief. I had to know that that was scientifically based and proven, tested, tried. So my experience as a journalist for 15 years, that carried over into my spiritual experience, where I was having very mystical experiences in ceremony. The earth was teaching me. I was learning in higher realms after my higher consciousness opened up. I didn't ask for that. I just meditated and did Ayurvedic practices for 3 years, the Dharana method, integrating that knowledge, and then it opened up. And then I was given all of these opportunities to learn from these collections of frequencies that we know as gods and goddesses, ascended masters, that are truly part of us in this field now. And that was happening, and I was corroborating that by looking up the things I received in my other realm lessons, or corroborating it with scientists who found out that once we calm the limbic system, we can remote view, we can perceive at least 10 dimensions. Interviewing doctors that say 90% of our well-being is mental, spiritual, emotional, 10% is physical. And then practicing that in my life and seeing how my body changed, my vitality renewed. I started reverse aging when I had massive emotional release. So I've seen enough, I've corroborated enough, I've documented it all. And that's why Master of Frequency is the first step in sharing this with the world. In hopes, in the intention, we don't need hope, because I already had faith for 5 years that turned into trust, that turned into knowing. I've proven to myself that I time traveled, that I'm a master manifester, that what I speak and write is commanded in divine timing. And my relationship with time now has shown me that I can master that too. This is who we are. And we have evolved our spiritual selves to not just be clairvoyant or to hear the earth, but to also self-initiate, to begin these paths of enlightenment and embodiment, which is what we're really after in the physical plane, because our body is a spiritual altar. We are the spiritual beings creating our body and through our body. We have that all inside of us. And the Dharana method that I walked away from in 2020 to start this next part of the journey that has integrated even more into it. And now I bring Dharana back with all of that integrated, embodied knowledge, wisdom, and practice. This reminds you that you are the guru. You are the master. You are the God. Not like how when the Romans were first experiencing the soul evolution of individuation, that they felt that they were gods themselves without the unity of being tied into the earth. They were individuating from those pagan traditions, from the more collective identification, and saying, I am a god, I am a king, I am a queen. And that was the mind retreating back from this animism, this awareness of consciousness in everything, and going into the self-awareness, the self-individuation, which has had time to grow and develop to where, for example, we used to need a priest or a guru or a shaman or a prophet to bring these insights and spiritual realities to us in those times. Now, hold on, erase that. Let's talk about the Temple of Solomon. The Temple of Solomon, as Dr. Gilbert taught me, in the Old Testament, that was built on a power spot on the earth. So think of Sedona. There are vortexes. There are places naturally in the earth where the energy is flowing so that it can assist you in release in a down vortex or in tension, upliftment in an up vortex. Like these are power spots. The Temple of Solomon was built on a power spot, and certain materials were used for specific vibrations. Crystals were placed in the Holy of Holies, and this is so that the priests could bring down higher beings into the Holy of Holies and witness them. That is a representation of the mystical path to understanding that we are energy and that those mystical beings are us, our higher selves. It is all happening within the field. The Tao can be described as the field of energy. It is very similar. It is the same in my view. And I've heard other people who are very versed in quantum physics as well as the Tao say the same thing. So what we're seeing with Buddhism, with Vedanta, with Ayurveda, is that the mystical is a path to understanding our power. But in some regards, those those are no longer the structures that we're operating in. Because when you have the experience, the embodiment of your own power, you see that the whole universe is within you. So we are in new territory where the Dharana method, which gives you my 20 years of world wisdom traditions and Vedic meditation practice and knowledge, you don't have to study for 20 years. You have this in you. And what the Dharana method does in 1 week for 8 weeks is it reminds you of that by citing these sources and allowing you to, in your very busy schedule, to transition to a life that's conducive of your power, of your creator nature. Many students who have gone through this training have become the bosses of conscious, freedom-based businesses, million-dollar enterprises, building retreat centers, creating incredible movements in their communities, and at the very least, leading their life, improving their relationships, and harmonizing their family. This is where we have the crossroads. Do we choose to see the world that has been a reflection of our small selves and get stuck and depressed and despondent about that? Or do we choose to start right now in this moment loving ourselves and investing in our life, our health, our temples, our experience, and building a life based on our true nature as loving beings who desire both unity and freedom that can coexist with communication and respect? That we live on an abundant planet that is self-healing, and we are her. We never want for anything. When I lived amongst nature, off-grid in an RV, at a survival school, I learned, I experienced that nature has all we need. The tough part was coming back to society where even if you are living very simply, you have life administration, you have bills upon bills upon bills. If you get sick, oh my gosh, there's now this whole world of financial distress to deal with on top of that. It's not conducive to parenting. It's not conducive to health. It's not conducive to well-being. It's work, 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 and then stress about it, even if you live simply. So what our challenge is now is to take such good care of ourselves to master our own frequency so that we are now amongst others who have taken leadership in their life to transform from within. And then we set intentions together to quantum shift the earth. The earth has told me and many others that this is possible. And what I know from time and space, that can collapse so that it can happen right away. The wars end, water flows, earth, desert becomes garden. We are that powerful together. We first do it with our earth, our planet, our queendom, our kingdom, and then unite with others. So that is my call to action. Because we are capable of quantum shifting the earth, I invite you to invest in yourself. Invest in the joy that connects you to your true path. Cut away the noise, this false world, this false self, the shoddy foundation. Your brain is going to keep resisting that and blowing up your efforts if you are choosing that, because that is not in alignment with who you really are and what you've been creating for yourself. It takes so much courage to transition, but transitions are short, they can be fast. Call in the element of fire, call in the wind. The earth is assisting us, and we are assisting the earth. We are working together. We are supported. We are energetic beings in this field, and we can call upon the light being pumped into this field and this energy being channeled through us by source. And we can be in that grid, the crystalline grid, the etheric grid, the higher consciousness grids, the new love templates. We can break free from this matrix, this energetic structure that has trapped us by our will. There's a reason things have been so hard for us. It's because we had to develop that divine willpower. We had to be able to command ourselves forward to show that we have willpower. And with that willpower, what you speak is what you command. Speak it into being. First, be it into being. Be the frequency. Feel the frequency. Feel your perfect health. Feel your dream, comfortable, secure, fun relationship. Feel your financial burdens dissolve. And then speak what you are creating. You are a master of frequency, and together we're quantum shifting Earth. I have chills right now. And we're already there. Maroon is a frequency that aids in transitions, and that candle wouldn't light. So the ones who are watching are true masters. And since you've remembered, I invite you to be a living example of that remembrance so that the people in your life are naturally influenced. The YouTuber Library of the Unknown, he said, I wonder if we're going to look back at the cancer treatments of chemotherapy and radiation as something like the Spanish Inquisition, where they thought they were doing the right thing, but turns out to be absolutely barbaric. I love the Western medicine in terms of assisting us with removing certain things and fixing certain things. But what I know to be true is that if you study quantum physics, at the very root, we have energy. So why do all of this when we can transform, direct, transfer, work with the earth, work with frequency medicines until we understand our mind and our love energy, can do that quicker, faster, and to our needs without anything else at all. I love you. Thank you for watching. I am happy what came through came through. Please make that be whatever it is for you. Take what you want, leave the rest. I send you with some rose water to invite you to harmonize right now to that frequency of wholeness. So you've already done that work. Divine will, you have divine will. You have divine love. You wouldn't be here after all you've been through if you did not have divine love for yourself and your loved ones. You have divine love. That is the most transformative power. And divine sight. You knew that these things that you thought, that you practiced, the courses you took, the places you went, the people you listened to, you knew that was part of your journey to get right here so that I can tell you, reflect to you that you did it, that you are a master. And now the masters get to work. But this time, we're full power. I love you. Stay aligned. Your frequency is most important. Let me know if you need anything. All the links that have helpful things for your journey are below. But you are complete.